You move it and do it again.
Oh, all right, yeah.
You probably have to do it twice.
Okay. A lot of cameras, a lot of lights.
Are you rolling on everything?
I'm rolling on
Okay.
everything.
That means it's my turn?
Go for it. Give it up. Boom. And then just kind of hold it in front of Steve in this direction. That's fine. Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's it. That's all
Have
it
you
is.
done this before?
We're live, baby.
Except I wasn't rolling audio, so.
Oh, dang. We got to do that one more time? I don't mind.
No, it's
doing the
okay.
click
I'll
again.
just clap.
All right. That sounds
We'll
good.
do, what is it, third sticks? It's okay. It'll work. Did you get that? Yeah. Okay.
All right. We got it.
We got it. I never know how to start these.
All
so
right.
We're just going to start it.
Let's dive in.
Let's jump in. You're Frankie, the owner of Top Tier Entertainment New York.
Yes.
Thanks for jumping on, man.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you very
So
much.
I want to talk about how we met.
Yes.
I mean, we met for the first time right now.
Yeah.
But you DM'd me because you saw a couple of people that were on the podcast.
Yeah. I'm an avid Instagram creeper. So.
And I was talking to the crew back here, Sal, before, saying the reason that he's like, oh, how'd you meet Frankie and why is he coming on? And I was like, he's coming on because he DM'd me and it got my attention because you messaged me, let's talk about talking. And I thought that was a great line, and I was like, we definitely have to talk.
Yeah.
And then we hopped on a call, and now you're here.
I love that. You know, I feel like a DM, if you're going to send it to somebody, you need to kind of catch their attention, you know? So that obviously it worked, and I'm grateful that it did. Yeah, so how all of this happened was a couple of my friends who also have their own businesses, I saw some content that they were putting out and then noticed that, oh, wait, it's the same guy that's doing this podcast. And then you did the whole little workaround thing, you know? Okay, now I start researching you, see what you're all about, what you're doing. And I was like, wow, I really like this, you know? And I'd like to kind of think of myself in a non-arrogant or pompous type of way. But, you know, I'd like to think of somebody who's a leader in my industry, somebody with a lot of experience. And I thought that I would be a good fit for the show. So I reached out to you and just a quick shout out to the two people I saw, my buddies TJ and Tyler from 8 Well. They were on the show. And then Brandon from Red Max, who is also in my industry, but not in my industry in a weird way. And I got to tell you something. Shout out to Brandon. I've never looked up to somebody so much younger than me in my entire life. I love that kid.
He's incredible.
He's
Well, I think we
unbelievable.
talked about him on the phone, but just his mindset, the way he operates his business at such a young age, it's very impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you also mentioned that you're in the same industry where, you know, you kind of have complementary services, but you could also be viewed as competition in some way, if you wanted to look at it that way. And I think that's a cool thing that you brought up is like, you don't really look at those things as competition, especially in your industry. What I've noticed is people are collaborating a lot. You may need some extra equipment and Brandon's got your back, or he may need something extra and you've got his back. You're kind of helping each other fulfill because there's so much work out there.
Absolutely. And I think that's, you know, that's a lot of the way that my industry has gone, the whole entertainment industry, you know, the wedding industry. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, there was, you know, just a handful of companies that, you know, you kind of had brand loyalty where that was their staff. You had your crew. You had everybody that worked exclusively for one company. Now there's so many entrepreneurs and different people that are out there doing their own business that the market is saturated, but there's still a lot of work out there, you know? So people are just finding work with different, you know, companies. Okay.
Yeah. The freelance economy, there's a lot of freelancers out there. I mean, I was one for 5-6 years doing audio engineering here or event staff there. And I worked for, you know, I think I had 7 or 8 1099s one year. It's just how it works. It's how you get the gigs and you take them. Right.
But the event business, it's back up and booming and better than it's really ever been. You know, it's going really well for us so far.
So without going too deep into, you know, the COVID world and having that whole problem, but that was clearly a problem, maybe more so in your industry than any other. But the good thing is weddings are still happening, and they're happening at a higher rate now because everyone who wanted to get married for those 2 years is now getting married.
Yeah, so we just basically, I'd say within the last like 4 or 5 months, finished up the quote unquote COVID weddings. Like we're done with those, but it was crazy, man. We were doing weddings on like Tuesday and Wednesday night, you know. The first year that we were fully back, we ended up fitting just under 2 years of work in 1 year.
Yeah.
Which was remarkable. You know, it was really nice for us.
So how do you keep that momentum going? Because obviously it's going to fizzle out a little bit.
Oh yeah.
After time. So how do you not grow too much during that? Like, how do you not cut staff or do stuff like that?
I think the most important thing is to stay humble and have realistic expectations. You know what the quote unquote COVID bride was, you know, and what that time period was, and you accepted it, you enjoyed it, but now you got to take a step back and you got to look at the numbers, because I'm a big numbers guy. So you got to look at the numbers from, okay, where were we before COVID? Like, what kind of numbers were we doing? And like, we want to be there and obviously get a little bit better every year. And there's ways that we try and do that every year. We're looking to, you know, hit another showcase that we didn't hit, or land a new house account, you know, and it's all relationship driven, and I'm a big relationship guy, so I'm sure you'll be hearing from me again after this podcast.
Sure. Sounds great.
But yeah, it's there's always ways to, you know, try to keep the work coming in, but you know, it's never going to be like that again, you know, where you just have like this influx of everybody just trying to get a party in 1 year, you know. So
yeah, you kind of had like 3 years of weddings in a year and a half or 2 years.
Yeah, about 2 years. You had about 3 years of weddings. So it was wild.
I just had my wedding in June. So just
congratulations!
Thank you. And we got engaged like 2 years ago. It was almost a 2-year engagement, and it was like during COVID and all that. And when we went to the venue to get our date, we couldn't even get the first date we wanted, and I think it was like 20 months in the future. It was already booked up. It was so it was just so packed full. They were like, "Yeah, we're just rescheduling weddings and adding new ones." Like, you guys, it must have been, I mean, probably great for those businesses, the ones that made it through.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how to maintain that, or if it's possible to maintain that.
Yeah, that's the question, right? Is it possible? You know, I think all that we could really do is kind of what I was alluding to before, and just, you know, stay on top of our social media marketing and just really putting ourselves out there constantly, and you know, picking up as many jobs as possible.
Yeah. I love what you're doing. I mean, on the social media side.
Oh, thank you.
You walked in here with Rachel,
yeah,
who is like your behind the scenes person today. That's the first time that's happened.
Oh, okay.
For a guest on the podcast.
I like to be a first. You see that? There you go. We'll edit that out later, but
no, we'll leave it in. But even like Brandon does a lot of great stuff behind the scenes with his social media, but he didn't come with a videographer.
Well, you know, I got to tell you, Brandon actually is what inspired me to start doing some of these more behind the scenes stuff. And it's funny because I was talking to Rachel before we came in here. I want people to begin to see me for, you know, like who I really am, you know. I want them to know I'm a real person. I'm not like some just like professional robot that walks around with like a suit and tie all the time. You know, I came in here with the backwards hat and just kind of wanting to be me. And, you know, even lately we've been doing a lot more filming with, you know, just me mic'd up and a little bit more behind the scenes type of stuff. And, you know, I want people to really kind of get and see me for who I am and be like, oh, wow, this guy, you know, he's a fun dude. He's a cool dude, you know, like stuff like that. And then, listen, when it's time to be professional, we turn it on, you know, and we do it. I don't want to say better than anybody else, but we do it pretty damn good, you know.
You can have confidence.
Yeah, oh, yeah, we don't lack
in
it.
the creative field and an entertainment field, you need an ego. You need a little bit of an ego, right? Like, you need to know that you're the best or that you can do a good job, but you also need to know when to be humble. And,
of course.
And it seems like you toe that line really well.
I do toe it.
And I think the way that you're approaching it, as far as your brand, is really what you said before. It's a relationship-driven industry. It's a relationship-driven business, and you're just utilizing social to do that. Yeah. So I, in my opinion, I think you're doing this the right way.
I appreciate
there's a lot
that.
of people that try to like take the shortcuts or do the thing that is trending in the moment, and they're just trying to keep up with the things that are working for other people, but they're not authentically being themselves. So in my opinion, that in the long run is not helping your brand.
Right.
You're just kind of like doing everything the way that the algorithm is forcing you to do it, but no one's getting to know Frankie behind the scenes.
Right. And now they are.
And now they are.
Yeah. I got to tell you, though, like, and I think we spoke a little bit about this before we initially met. I started doing this 20 years ago. And I was a baby because I walked in, you were like, oh wow, you're younger than I expected, you know.
Well, when you hear 20 years experience, you're expecting someone 45 with a gut to walk in.
Right, yeah. Well, TJ or Tyler wouldn't appreciate me walking on here with a gut. So, no, but you know, it's funny because when you're 14. Getting involved in something, you know, you're looking for like ice cream truck money, you know, and you start to get into it and you start to really learn a little bit about the business. And then before you know it, you're in it like 3 or 4 years and you start to have a passion for this thing, you know, and that's kind of what happened to me. And so when I was 19, that's when I first went out and started Top Tier Entertainment. And I thought I knew it all back then, you know, and I didn't know anything. Oh my God, it's scary though, you know. Like, do you want to talk about ego? That was like when you really had the ego. You're 19, I know it all, and like, I didn't even know any like the top players in the industry. Like, I didn't know what a bar mitzvah was or a bat mitzvah. I was like, you know, dancing it up at Sweet 16s. I'd do a wedding here and there, you know. But it's funny how things change, and then, you know, you only can gain experience with experience, you know. And yeah, it's funny to think how far we've come and just, you know, where we're at today.
So I guess give us a little context. Where are you at today in your mind?
Yeah, so I would like to believe we are amongst the industry leaders in the wedding business. Okay, you know, we still obviously service all events. You know, bar bat mitzvahs, sweet 16s, corporate events. My goal is, in the end, is to be at the top of, you know, when somebody says wedding, they think Top Tier Entertainment. You know, we do it all. We're a full service event production company, which kind of separates us a little bit from our competition.
What does that mean?
What that means exactly is, yes, so, you know, the DJs, MCs, lighting, all of that's our bread and butter. But in addition to that, we're a professional photography studio. We have a full film production studio. We do photo booths. We do lounge decor. We do it all. So it's basically a one-stop shop. I mean, unless you're coming looking for some flowers and a wedding dress, I'm going to tell you no. But other than that, we're pretty much doing it all.
Yeah, I was just looking at the website earlier today, and I was checking out some of the video work, and it's phenomenal.
Oh,
everything looks great.
Thank you.
It seems like you got a great team.
Yeah, we really do.
On our side, just that's the thing that I looked at. I would love to say your lounge work is great, but I don't know too much about that.
No, I understand. Listen, one of the things that when we were talking about the relationships before, not only is it, you know, with the catering halls and just, you know, people that work in some of the different facilities, but my staff, like, they're the reason that we are who we are. You know, I wouldn't be anything without them. I'm just, you know, one man show, and like, you know, we're a real team. So everything from the DJs to the photographers, the film people, my technicians that like set the equipment up and make sure everything's working. Like, I'm able to go out on an event and I have a tech there. I know I have nothing to worry about because if something goes wrong, they're there to fix it. You know, like, I literally pay guys at an event to, I don't want to say do nothing, but they know who they are. Like, do nothing and just be there to make sure everything's okay.
Well, they're doing nothing because they're good, right?
Yeah.
They're doing nothing because they set it up, and now you don't have to worry. And, you know, they're there because the one time that something does go wrong and you don't have them, you're kind of screwed.
Exactly. You know, and that's a case in point of, you know, just learning over the years, you know, because, you know, maybe 10 years ago, I wouldn't have had that guy because I didn't want to pay the extra salary, where now it's like, okay, I need him there. Let's keep him there.
Yeah, I mean, you ruin someone's wedding, you're not going to be the top of mind when it comes to
right
the wedding industry. Like you said, your goal is to be the brand that people think of.
Exactly.
You can't do that by not doing great work.
Yeah. No.
And so it seems like you're setting yourself up for success in that area.
I appreciate that.
And I think you kind of segued nicely into what we're going to talk about, or what I'm most interested in learning is how you build this team to grow, and also to like set the culture to have the right team and people in place.
So listen, my goal in the end is I got like another 10 years of like me being the guy, right? So right now, what we've been doing, I got a couple of accounts that, you know, I'm pumping out a lot of weddings at. Fortunately, as time is going by, obviously I'm one person, I can't do everything. So I've been getting away with, you know, putting different MCs on, you know, And that's really what it comes down to, the face, the person that they're going to be, the client's going to see and communicate with, okay? Then our next step is by the end of this year, we're going to be launching a new office. With the whole COVID thing, we got out of the office. There's really never been a reason to go back. Once we do that, I'll then have a different approach. We'll have a sales team now. So it's not people are recognizing the name Top Tier Entertainment from our pedigree, but now they're going to come in and they'll deal with a sales associate who can now sell them on a different MC or a different team or something like that, where it's not just Frankie, you know? I think a lot of times people get fixated on that and they don't even realize that, like, listen, what I do behind the scenes, I'm going to always do. The planning, making sure the equipment's right, making sure that, you know, all of the music and the questionnaires that people are getting is all appropriate, you know. But as far as execution of the event, my guys are so freaking good that they don't need me there. But I think sometimes people just get fixated like, oh, well, we saw you or we heard you. But like, no, because if you have George there or Rocco there, you know, these guys are going to kill it, you know, and you'll forget all about me.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, it's Top Tier Entertainment. It's not Frankie Entertainment.
Exactly.
So
And there are companies out there where they use their name, you know, and that's a different story. And I didn't want that. I wanted to build a brand, and it's something that we're working towards.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, it's the right mindset. And that's something that I personally have been trying to figure out is, you know, how to delegate better, how to put the right people in the right places to succeed. You know, I just got married. I went on a honeymoon. That was my first time stepping away. And we've only been in business for a year and a half. But that was my first time stepping away for 2 weeks where I don't think I answered one email.
Really?
You know, I don't think I spent a single minute of my time on my honeymoon thinking about this business or how it was running.
Well, your wife got a good one.
But that was hard for me.
Yeah,
that
I
was
bet.
so difficult. I went to a friend's wedding. We had to go to Israel for a wedding earlier in the year. And I was like, I brought my laptop. I was answering emails. I was editing a couple of things. And, you know, it's just like I didn't get to enjoy the trip as much as I could have or should have. And I didn't want to let that happen again. And what you realize as a founder or as an owner of a business is when you're able to step away for a week or two and you come back and everything's still there. And
The
and
place didn't burn down.
Yeah, you get the texts that were like, hey, the team did great while you were gone. Like, all right, maybe I've been doing all the wrong things this whole time. Maybe
It's that proud daddy moment,
there's
too.
less I can do. There's more I can put on the team, and that in itself will help it grow. So you're talking about, you know, the team and the guys that you have. I think you said Rocco and George.
Yeah, Rocco and Joy, man, they're two of the best.
Like, you don't need to be there the day of the event, and you probably don't need to be doing all of the prep work either.
Right.
You're there for quality control. You're there to train your people and make sure that everything's being done properly and being done well to your standards.
The top tier way.
The top tier standard. But, you know, it's not necessarily you doing the work. So how have you been able to separate yourself from those things? What was like was there a moment where you were able to step away kind of like I just had?
Yeah. You know something? I one of the things about me, like I go to a lot of weddings too, and I'm not always the company that's doing the wedding, you know, sometimes. And like one of the things people always ask me is like, oh man, do you just want to jump up and grab the mic, or like do you want to go back there and spin a record? I'm like, no, like not at all.
I want to enjoy myself.
You guys are doing a great job. Like I'm not like that at all. So like one of the things, back to your point, I've always been able to disconnect and turn it off and on like real easily. Like I have a really good on and off switch.
Have you, even from the beginning, you were able to do that, or was there a learning curve to that?
Yeah, I guess that, I guess in the beginning I was a little bit more like, you know, response time within 60 seconds. If I don't get back to you within 60 seconds, I'm failing, you know, and then I got to be a little bit more realistic. You know, I'm a human being, you know, we all have different things that happen in our lives, you know, and then you start to realize that most people, especially like my clients, they're all very understanding people, you know, so, okay, hey, I'm going away for a wedding for a week. Hey, I just got married. You know, I just got married last year also. So
Congrats.
We took some time. Thank you. We took some time, and yeah, I didn't answer emails, you know, so I was enjoying my time with my wife, you know, we had a great time. So the important thing is that you always pick up where you left off. And again, you have the right measures in place. You prepare well enough in advance. You know, I don't have as big a team or able to delegate communicate as much as you are right now. So we did all the little things before leading up to it, you know, sending out emails in advance, putting on notifications that, hey, I'm away, just little things like that, leaving voicemails, hey, I'm away on my honeymoon, we'll get back to you. So little stuff like that, just to prepare in advance, made things a little bit easier for
Yeah, I
me.
mean, that was the thing for me to learn when doing it. Was like, okay, I have to do the pre-prep.
Yep.
I have to do the sending an email, you know, making sure that everyone knows that you are gone. This is your point of contact. These are the people to talk to. Like when you're away, even if you're the point of contact for clients, most of the time you have to say, hey, you know, give Rocco a call, or, you know, give this person, this admin a call, because I'm going to be gone for a week. I'm not going to be answering my phone. If any problem comes up, they know exactly how to fix it.
You know, I'll be honest with you, though, most of the time, when we were in Bahamas,
Oh, that sounds nice.
Bahamas was nice, yeah. Yeah, Bahamas was really nice. When we were out there, though, I didn't really look at my phone or emails or anything like that. But I'll be honest with you, most times in most places where we go, like, I want to, you know. So
That's okay.
You know, I want to. So I'm always, you know, like, hey, listen, there's 24 hours in a day, all right? You spend 8 or whatever sleeping. You still got 16 other hours to go do everything else. I could cut out a half hour to answer an email or make a phone call back or something like that, you know?
Well, that's sustainable, and as long as it's not interfering with your enjoyment or anything.
Exactly.
Like, I had the opportunity to answer emails, but I just wanted to see how how the team went, and how they were able to handle that in my absence, because I'd never let go of that before.
And how did you feel when you came back?
Oh, when I came back, it felt great.
It was like,
I
oh
had
my God,
texts
victory.
from clients. I have we work with Saltwater Long Island as one of our like number one. They're our number one client. Well, I'll just say it out loud. Sorry, everyone else.
Sorry, everybody else.
No, but we work very closely with them. We've been working with them for a really long time. And I got a text from the owner, Joe, who actually usually hosts this podcast with me.
Oh, okay. Where are you, Joe?
They're busy. This is like their busiest week of the year, around 4th of July.
Oh, okay,
So he's been running around like a
We'll give
chicken without
him
a
a
head.
break.
Yeah, he's having a hell of a week. I'll see him tomorrow.
All right.
But he sent me a text. He was like, "Hey Steve, while you're sober still on your honeymoon, just want to let you know the team's doing a kick-ass job, and he said arguably better than when you were here."
Oh, that's great.
So I was like, "Great, I'm just gonna stay."
That's
Like,
awesome.
They don't need me home anymore.
That is a good. It's very gratifying.
It's a really good feeling to get that text. And I had, we had a meeting with another client the other day, and Laura said, like, "Hey, Steve, the team did great while you were gone. They were amazing." Like, it's just good to get that feedback and know the way that we set things up, the system that we have. Everyone, our team is extremely talented, but they're able to handle all the work while I was gone. So now that sets me in a new phase now, and a new opportunity is saying, hey, I don't necessarily have to spend all my time on the client side. I'm still spending a good quarter of my time managing those relationships and answering emails, being on those meetings still. But a lot of my time right now is building new relationships, doing stuff like this, meeting people like you, other business owners, other people who are in the industry who, maybe we can collaborate, maybe we could do some fun things. So it's opened up us for more opportunity, more growth, and the ability to potentially add more team members and do other things. So it's definitely a great feeling.
Don't you love that? Just going out and meeting new people, networking, and just kind of, seeing what else is out there and how you can kind of piggyback off of each other.
It's interesting. I love learning about people's businesses and their problems and trying to help them solve it, whether that's me helping them or my team helping them or me being able to connect them with someone else.
Yes.
But I'm kind of an introvert.
Really? Okay.
I'm kind of you can turn it on for the camera,
Sure.
but if I did this for 8 hours a day, I'd be exhausted the next day. I would just need to sit down and send out some emails and do some stuff. But it's definitely something that I've been forcing myself to do more of because it doesn't come naturally to me.
You do a good job at it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been trying. But do you it seems like it comes naturally to you. Obviously, as an entertainer, you have that gear.
Yeah.
Is that something that you were born with? Is that something that you're just an extrovert, you're just out there and you're really good at reading the crowd and seeing how people react? Or is it something that you had to kind of learn and teach yourself?
No, so I guess I was like a class clown, growing up. So
Okay.
I guess I was a little bit louder and kind of just out there.
Did you grow up here?
I grew up in Hopog.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had a big personality. I definitely got that from my mom, but I got some. I got some from my dad too, because my dad, he's like low key swagtastic, if that's a word.
It is
But
now.
It is now. So just to really answer your question, what's really funny. So I was 14 years old the first time. I was actually working in a friend's diner at the time, and this guy that owned the company. He was coming in to eat. I was just busting the table or whatever. And he comes in and he's like, hey, listen, kid, you got a good look to you. He goes, if you ever want to make some real money, he goes, take my card, give me a call. I'm like 14. I'm like, shit, I want to make some real money. Yeah, So I called him up, and the next weekend, I quit the diner. I hadn't even gone and worked at this guy, but I was going to make real money. So I quit the diner, and I was going to start working weekends with this company. And the first day I go up there and I'm supposed to learn how to just go and set up the equipment and plug in speakers. I've never done this before.
Just kind of shadow the whole process.
Right. And just like kind of, just be a roadie or whatever, kind of learn what they do in their process. And I'm 14 years old, right? Now, fortunately, I grew up kind of quick and I had already like been to a bunch of, Sweet 16s and I kind of saw how all that worked, right? So we get there to the office. We're about to leave for the party. I'll never forget. It was at Pomodorino in Hopog on Motor Parkway. It's no longer there. I think it's a bank now or something like that. But so, we get there, and the owner, he's just like so laid back. This cool guy. He goes, "Oh yeah, listen. So the MC, he's sick. He's not going to be able to do the party. So you just take the mic and it'll be all right." So I'm like,
shit.
"What?" I'm nervous. I'm 14. It's a Sweet 16. These girls are all hot, I'm scared, and I will never forget. I walked out to the middle of the dance floor. They had like a round dance floor, and I was like, "All right, ladies and gentlemen," and I saw everybody look up and I was like, "Whoa, this is cool!" I got into it a little bit, and then man, my younger years doing this, I was a crazy animal, man. I was break dancing and just dancing with all the girls and the moms and everybody, and we really threw some great parties when we were young. But we were young, we didn't really know what we were doing, It's once we got to 17, 18, we started becoming a little bit more polished and really learning how to actually throw a party. And then by 19, I thought I had it all figured out. I was like, all right, we're going out on our own. We don't need anybody else. And
comes with a whole new set of challenges. And
yeah,
learning.
you're not kidding. But yeah, that was it, man. So I guess to answer you all the way now is that I guess it's always kind of just been in me, and especially once I said jump and everybody jumped, I was like, damn, this is crazy.
Well, that's the thing. It's with most people, they don't jump, right?
Right.
They don't know that it's in them, so they don't try.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
But yeah, man, it was this is wild. It's funny to think back at that story. I could picture myself being there right now. That's crazy.
just go back to that moment in your mind.
Yeah.
Like, damn, I was a savage.
Yeah.
I was a cool 14-year-old.
Right. Right. And that 21 years later, here we are, still doing it.
Yeah. So, we got a few minutes left.
Yeah.
And I like to wrap it up with kind of what I said before, which is, what are your problems right now? And, if anyone out there is listening, or, anyone on our team in the room is listening and can help you in any way, what is your biggest problem, and how can people help you?
My biggest problem right now is staff. What I mean by that is, I think I'm at a point now where the company is really ready to grow. I'm just personally hanging on for, I guess, as long as I possibly can without having to take on additional salaries and stuff like that. But I think that, like I said, by the end of this year, it's time that we really have to do that. That's my biggest problem, because I'm literally doing everything. I'm doing the initial sales meetings. I'm the warehouse guy. I'm the MC on the weekends. I'm driving the trucks to the events. I'm loading the trucks. So I think my biggest problem is staff and just having the extra hands, which I think is something that could easily be solved. I'm very fortunate. Right now, we don't have any real business problems. everything. I think the only other thing too would be, you know, putting some of the content out there and like being a little bit more consistent with how often I post and stuff like that.
I think based on what you're saying, one would lead to the other.
100%.
So now you have a little bit more time back in your pocket to do that
Correct.
stuff, manage the brand,
Yeah.
or find the right person to do it if that's the direction that you went.
Yeah.
But it seems like you have a good grasp on all of that stuff, so it probably
Right.
makes sense coming from you.
Yeah. Right now, we're okay, you know, and the company will maintain and continue to grow. But I think we're getting to the point where we're going to hit the wall where it's like, hey, it's a one-man show. Like, we need to really start to grow. And
You're going to hit your capacity.
yeah, we're just about there.
Well, that's a good problem to have. Yeah. That's a great problem to have.
Yeah, 100%.
So is it sourcing that staff that people can help you with? Like finding the right people? If maybe someone's watching this who's like, oh, I want to
Yeah.
work with
Oh,
Frankie.
yeah. Absolutely. I mean, anybody interested in getting into the wedding planning business, the event production business, yeah, you know, give me a call, and I think that we're going to be able to find a spot for you. I also like, you know, love people with experience, love even more people with no experience because they have no bad habits, so we can, you know, kind of build them and mold them to the way we want them.
That's a good way of looking at it.
But yeah, absolutely, that could be the best possible way to help the
I don't think
company.
I've ever heard that before. We like people with experience, but we love people without experience because
Yeah.
they don't have any bad habits. That's a unique way of looking at it.
Yeah, we could really mold them.
I like that. So if someone wants to reach out, how can they find you?
So they could reach out the office line 631-364-2244. You could always go on our website, which is tteny.com, Top Tier Entertainment New York, or check us out on Instagram, Top Tier Entertainment _New York. And yeah, shoot me a DM, and hopefully it's fun and creative. Like
Do something fun. We should
Catch
talk
my
about
eye.
we should talk about talking.
We should talk about talking. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think you said something kind of like, yeah, we should, or something like that.
Well,
you know?
that's exactly what you said. We should talk about talking, and I was like, yeah, we should talk. We should definitely talk sometime.
All right, well, it worked out. I appreciate you having me on.
I'm glad you were able to come on and make time in your afternoon to be here. I know it's not easy to drive 40 minutes and sit down and talk for an hour, but you know, it's a lot of fun. And
We made it work.
yeah, it was awesome. Thanks for being here, Frankie.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Good job.
All right.
Yeah.
Woo.